Good evening. My name is Mark Pantley. I'm the president of HOA, and thanks for coming tonight. Looks like we got a great turnout, and so I really appreciate everybody taking the time to come to this candidates forum. Elections are coming up. I mean, we've got primary on May 3rd, and then the general's coming in August and November. It's going to be an interesting year, and if you follow anything in the news, you know that there's plenty of opportunity right now for improvement. And so whether we continue on with the existing candidates and they continue on with the programs that they've been working to put in place, or we start anew, those are choices that we all have, and those are things that we all need to think about. So tonight, for me, it's important because we need to be informed. Elections are an important part of living in a representative democracy, and this is our chance to participate and be part of it. And so how do you know unless you're informed? How do you know what you're doing? That's what this is all about. So appreciate you coming. Appreciate you being part of this. All right, that's me. I know. I totally forgot this at the last one, too, so I'm very consistent. And Levon's down here going, you know, and I'm not listening. So anyways, would you please stand? We're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. Oops, no, okay. Okay, I have one other task, and that is that I want to recognize distinguished visitors who are not at the table. So Levon's going to be up here in a minute to introduce our panelists. Let's call them panelists. We'll call them panelists. But in the audience, we have a few other people here, and so I just want to call out Jody Richards, right there in the corner. He's running for 4th District Constable, and so if you have a chance to meet and greet, you might want to go over and say hi to Jody later on. Same thing with Dewana Martin, here in the middle. She's running for Circuit Court, and we have Marna Hull. Marna's in the back, and she's running for trustee. Now, I don't know everybody, so is there anyone else here that I should call out? POA board, okay, here we go.
I'm Paul Rush, and I'm running for criminal court judge.
Thank you, Paul, appreciate it. Who else have I missed? All right, any POA board members here? Nope, okay, all right, we're gonna carry on then. Thanks for coming. Let's see, let's carry on. All right. Okay, Levon Mitchell is our VP of Programs. She put all this together, and so really appreciate all the hard work, a lot of work, and she is going to be our Master of Ceremonies tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I think I know most of you. Is this mic working? Yes. I think I know most of you. So I am your moderator for the forum tonight. And we have 5 items on the agenda. The first item is talking about the important dates related to the primaries. We will review what is on the ballot for the primaries that are on May 3rd. We'll have some candidate self-introductions. They provided me with their biographies, so I will share with you their biographies so you get to know them. That'll be followed by a prepared question and answer. So the candidates were provided 2 questions prior to the meeting. One of them was of a general nature, and the second one was specific to their role. So they'll respond to those, and then we'll open it up for questions from the audience. So important dates. Some have come and gone. The day to request an absentee ballot for military and overseas was January the 1st. For non-military, it was February the 2nd. And the last day to request it for an absentee ballot is April 26th. Last day to register to vote, which I am assuming every one of you have done that, was April the 4th. And early voting has started April 13th through 28th. And Election Day is May the 3rd. Here are the locations within Monroe County that you can vote. My favorite is the Von Orr Community Center, which you get out on Niles Ferry. You just go straight across, get down to the community center, and that's where I vote. But there's Sweetwater, City Hall basement, the community center, Telico Plains Community Center, and then the Monroe County Election Commission. And those are the hours that they're open. There is a lot on the ballot. These are the positions. You can see that we wish that we could represent every one of these positions that related to District 4, but we would be here all night. So we're showcasing 3 positions, but the positions that are open with the primary is Circuit Court Clerk, the Constables, County Clerk, 10 seats in the County Commission Office, County General Sessions Court Judge, District Attorney, Highway Superintendent, judicial districts for 10 judges, the Mayor, Public Defender, Register of Deeds, Sheriff, and Trustee. And the complete ballot can be found on the Monroe County Election Commission website. So who are we going to talk about today? Today we have the sheriff position, the county commissioner for District 4, which is what Von Orr falls into, and the mayor. So from a sheriff position, we have on the far end, and I've put them in the order of the slide, we have Tommy Jones and Randy White for sheriff. We then have County Commissioner District 4, Chasen Curtis and Paulette Summey. And then for mayor, we have Mitch Ingram and Richard Kirkland. So the form for today, what are we going to do? I will introduce each of the candidates. They provided me a biography, and once we get completed with the biography, then they'll reply to the 2 questions that they've had a chance to look at, and they'll respond to those. Once we complete those, then it'll be an open question and answer. So how are you going to be able to ask questions? This is being broadcast live with Telico Village Network, and anybody who could not attend here can log on, and you can post questions on the online chat. If you're here, we have a microphone set up, and you can come up and ask your questions. This is kind of one of those slides that it's kind of a common sense. We want questions. We don't want opinions. We want questions that relate to Telico Village, to our community. If you have something that's specific that you really need to be answered, but you don't think it's of general nature, these guys are going to be around. They'd be happy to answer them. But we would love to hear your questions that everybody is going to want to listen to the answers to. And if we run out of time, because we do have a hard stop at 8:30, if we run out of time, I'll collect the questions, we'll send them to the candidates, they'll have an opportunity to respond, and then we'll post that out on the HOA website. So without further ado, we have 2 people running for sheriff, and that is Tommy Jones and Randy White. And I need my glasses. Excuse me for one moment. That was one of those pregnant pauses in the meeting. So our first biography for sheriff, Tommy Jones, far end of the table. I started my law enforcement career in 1999 as a corrections officer for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. In 2000, I was sent to the Cleveland State Community College Basic Law Enforcement Training Academy. Upon graduation, I was assigned as a patrol deputy for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Through my time with the Sheriff's Office, I became a K-9 handler and rose through the ranks to become shift sergeant. I apologize, I needed to, here's the bullets. I was offered the opportunity to serve with the Drug Enforcement Administration's High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Task Force. I've received specialized training in highway narcotics, interdiction, incident management and command, clandestine lab, meth lab, technician, FBI, TLEEDS, and numerous other areas within law enforcement. In 2010, I accepted a position with the City of Sweetwater Police Department as a canine handler and patrol officer. I worked in that capacity until becoming the Chief Deputy of Monroe County Sheriff's Office in 2014. I was then appointed to the position of sheriff a short time later. During that term, I received training at the new sheriff's school. I then ran a successful campaign and was elected sheriff in 2016. 2 years later, in 2018, I was re-elected as sheriff. During the past 4 years, I have implemented several community programs, such as the Auxiliary Deputy Program, Senior Citizen Check Program, and the Firewood Program. I have overseen the development of Monroe County's 1st Marine Patrol Division. I have also overseen the reorganization of the Sheriff's Office Dive Team and SWAT Team. I have implemented a successful self-help program in the jail called Overcomers and have partnered with Cleveland State to educate inmates in welding and HVAC training. Over the past 23 years, I have strived to excel in the field as a law enforcement officer. I've recently been accepted to the FBI's National Academy, class number 284, and look forward to expanding my education as an administrator and public servant of the community. I will continue to work towards advancing the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and the programs in which it supports in order to better serve the citizens of Monroe County, Tennessee. Randy White. Randy White, his experience and credentials. He is a post-certified police officer. He has supervised all departmental and correctional facility operations for Monroe County Sheriff's Office. He has supervised and directed the activities of criminal investigations and patrol operations. He has expertise in crime prevention and criminal apprehension disciplines. He has a proven track record as a leader and administrator. He is an effective management of budgets, and he is the only EMS director to make the system profitable and or break even in its 48 years of existence. He is a competent decision maker and supervisory skills, and he has numerous certifications in applicable disciplines. Our candidates for sheriff, Tommy Jones and Randy White. Seated you wrong. I was supposed to seat them in order, but I think we can figure it out. The mayors are at the end. Mitch Ingram. He's the current mayor of Monroe County. He graduated from Madisonville High School and then attended Hiawassee College with both his Bachelor of Science in Agriculture and Master of Sciences degree. After serving 4 years on the county commission, his goals in his current position as mayor is to assist Monroe County in economic growth, provide transparency. I hold a master's degree from Tusculum College. I am a small business owner in Monroe County and former director of Economic and Community of Monroe County Organizational Management, certified Tennessee economic developer, one of 77 in the state, certified Tennessee public administration years, executive board member of Madisonville Downtown Alliance, production distribution manager for 20 plus years. Candidates for the mayor. Thank you. The last position that we're showcasing tonight is the Monroe County Commission for District 4, which is Monroe. I was born and raised within the 4th District of Monroe County. I now raise my children. In high school, I attended a 15-week program of Southeast Lineman Training Center, where I obtained my certification to be a lineman. After obtaining my certification, I've been for the last 8 years as a lineman. I have many other certifications that are needed daily to perform my job. I just returned from Memphis, where I received my certification in fiber optic splicing. I also work in the family business, Curtis Paving, along with it. I'm an active member within the community. I was the 2019 Dixie Youth Baseball Director. I have also coached 12. I was involved in World Changers International Church, where I was a crew leader. I will use the leadership skills I've obtained and the knowledge of working within a budget to make a difference for the 4th District of Monroe County, in which I was born, raised, and currently live. Paulette Miller Summey is a 5th-plus generation Monroe County native with steadfast ties. My background is in sales and marketing and local government employment, which has included working for 2 different Monroe County mayors with 20-plus years of experience and/or public service. My goal is to obtain equal representation in all areas for the 4th District of Monroe County, which is 3 county commissioners, 3 school board members, and 1 constable in 2014. In the last redistricting of the state and counties this year, I was able to secure 1 school board member and a constable for the 4th District, even though I was outnumbered 9-1 in voting. The 4th District, which is the Von Orr area, provides 66% plus of the county budget each year. However, we do not have equal representation on the county commission board. I want to develop a community who will work with me to brainstorm ways to approach this issue in the future. And those are our candidates for county commission. Thank you. So now we come to the question portion. The candidates have received these questions prior to the meeting. And the first question is, and they will have to come up to the podium. I apologize. I hope that works for everybody. What 2 things would you like to accomplish if elected or re-elected to this office, and how would they affect Telico Village? Each candidate has 5 minutes to reply to the questions. And we will start with Tommy at the far end.
So I guess I'll start with question number 1, right?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure I'm on the right one here. What's the 2 things would you like to accomplish if elected or re-elected to the office, and how would they affect Telico Village? You may wonder why I'm answering what I do and how it does affect the village, but there's many things I'd like to accomplish in the next term, but the 2 major facts or 2 things I'd like to accomplish is an inmate workhouse. The creation of that would help the local papers. You see that the counties like Dyer County, for an example, that has done this, they've went from over 80% return rate down to 27-28%. So that would really help with the overcrowding of the jails, and hopefully we won't be facing anything like a new jail or an expansion of the jail anytime in the future. Next thing I'd like to do is the creation of a crime status unit. We have 5 employees that we've already got in place that we're attaching or assigning to this unit. That will help us to see where our crime rates are increasing and decreasing throughout the county. That'll give us opportunity to see where we need to focus our efforts as far as patrol, narcotics, or detectives division, and see what those crimes are. The next question, the key to success when it comes to communication. As we all know, there's many ways of communication today. You have Facebook, which I think we do a great job at putting all the information out on to keep the public informed of what's happening throughout the county. Messenger, messages, cell phone calls, text messages, and the phone calls. Trying our best to respond to those in a timely fashion. I don't know of any person that's held this office in the past that has made herself more accessible to the public than I have. For an example, when we had the boat dock thefts and burglaries here in Kahiti, myself and my detectives division worked very closely with the homeowners and the victims to gather that information and was very successful in the apprehension and prosecution of the men that was involved. We had, during that time, 24 reports, 23 victims. There's 2 adults and juvenile arrested and charged. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the Hall suspect received jail time, restitution, and probation. The Keener subject received restitution, probation, and that was it, due to he had no other criminal history prior to that. And the 2 juveniles was restitution and probation. Now, if any of you are present that were victims of that, I don't know if you've received restitution or not, and I hope you have in some sense. I feel like that's the major things that I need to and want to accomplish in the next term. Like I said, there's several things I'd like to see done. As of today, we're 5 overcrowded on the male population of the new Justice Center. We can control those numbers quite a bit by sending state inmates out to prison or keeping those state inmates. I like keeping around 50 or 55 of those because it does help generate a board bill for the county. So we can control that, but at the same time, this workhouse, I think, would accomplish a whole lot for this county and help us from spending money in the future and generate new revenue also for the county. Thank you.
So Randy, what 2 things would you like to accomplish if elected or re-elected to this office, and how would they affect Telico Village?
Thank you all for the opportunity to come and speak with you tonight. I appreciate your time. 2 things I'd like to accomplish. One would be reestablish communication within the Sheriff's Department and within the community. As I've been traveling around the county for the last several months, one of the things I do hear from most of the citizens I've talked to is they call several times to the Sheriff's Department and their complaints or their concerns fall on deaf ears and they don't get any follow-up. Without follow-up, without open lines of communication, we go nowhere. We just can't operate that way. You know, if you call me with a complaint and I never call you back, then that complaint doesn't get taken care of. So that's one thing we're willing to do, is establish open lines of communication with the public. I will be in the office and be available during the daytime office hours to speak with the public, to listen to their concerns and address their concerns, and make sure those concerns get taken care of in appropriate fashion and in a timely manner. The other thing I'd like to do is, it's one of the things we did when I was there before, is Tommy talked about the programs that they have to rehabilitate inmates. I'm big on that. Second Chances was the program we did when I was there. We had about 35 women and 28 men go through that program during that time. We had some success stories with it, and we had some failures. But, you know, if we change one life and put one family back together, it's worth everything we put into it. We do have a success story. One lady I talked to with who went through the program, when she was going through it, she was in on drug charges. She had lost her children. DCS had taken them away from her. I seen her about 3 months ago. She has since gotten a job. She has rehabilitated her life completely. She has since gotten her kids back. So that was, to me, that's a success. For all the failures we may have had, that was a success because I was able to put a family back together. Those are the things I'd like to see happen. And putting those families back together and rehabilitating those inmates is cost effective for our community because it costs us to house those inmates. It costs us for a facility, it costs them to be there. and they have a definitely impact on our community. And when the crime rate goes up, that's when we keep that down. Tommy talked about the recidivism rate is very high in Monroe County because we don't have anything for them to do when they get out. We need to partner with our businesses in trying to get those folks a job so we can keep them off the street so they can do something more productive for the community and themselves. But communication, I think, would be one of the biggest things. I like to see change in our community. I like to be able to see that we have real interaction with our communities, with the departments of communities, partnering with other law enforcement agencies, to working together to make sure that we do what we need to do to make our communities a much safer place for all to live. Thank you.
So next up is the mayor position. So we have Mitch first and then Richard. So Mitch, would you like to come?
Good evening. It's been a few months since the sheriff and I believe Miss Paulette and we gave the state of the county to you all, and it's always exciting to come and visit with you and just share some information about the county, and that's certainly what we want to do tonight. I certainly understand and value this community. You know, this is 850 acres on a peninsula. And I was listening to Paulette's biography, and she mentioned about the tax rate. Here in Kahidi alone, I believe the appraisal is over $249 million, which rolls $1.360 million into Monroe County tax rates. So I want to thank you, and I understand the value of these. Okay? I appreciate you. I really do. And we just spoke with your sister community, Rarity Bay, Tuesday night, and they put in just a measly $850,000. So, but you trump them. But certainly, when it comes to visions of the future, I'm like the sheriff and the sheriff candidates. We have so many things that we want to do moving forward. But I want to specifically focus tonight on the things that really, truly affect this community in Telico Village. We could go on all night about what we'd like to accomplish. One thing that I really want to see through, and some of these we've already started, but one focus of our office has been infrastructure, and be it water lines or broadband. And, you know, this is National Volunteer Week. And you've got one of the greatest volunteer organizations in the world here. And you serve our county in a lot of ways. At our animal shelter, at Good Shepherd Center back there with Ken, and goes on and on. But when I mention that for infrastructure, I want to say what a rock star Ed has been to this community, and not only this community, he's helped with the Telico community and TDS grants for broadband. So, but we want to continue to expand that as those grants become available. When it comes to infrastructure, I know one of the concerns that you all have, even though that doesn't fall under county government per se, I want to be a champion along with Lowell Russell to get that red light down here at 411 in Niles Ferry. Any letter or any phone call that I can make or write, we're going to do that to help get that. Another project that we began along with the help of County Commission that I want to see through in this next term is Monroe County Friends of the Animals, making sure that animal shelter gets complete. And that's been a transition that has been with support of the commission that moved forward to allow that partnership to even grow and go on beyond. And it's gone through the planning stages. So we're very excited about what that's going to look like in the future. But the most important thing that I want to accomplish moving forward is the same thing I want to accomplish on day one, and that's to protect our civil liberties in this county. You're here in this village for a reason. You moved from wherever you moved to East Tennessee for a reason, and we want to make sure we keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch. And Richard? We'd love to hear from you.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd just like to, like Rarity Bay, have a great turnout tonight, which I appreciate that so much, just to show the interest that y'all have in county government and selections you will be choosing. So to me, to answer that question, I thought about it a lot, and I'm going to stay focused on what I've said every time. And that one big growth I'd like to see is with our youth development and things they have to do. Been on the commission for 14 years, thinking back, I don't think we've ever really applied anything to focus in that area. Our kids, if you don't play sports now, what do you have to do after school? Go home, play that game. And somebody asked me, well, how would you pay for that? I said, well, I answered it the wrong way, I guess, initially, because I'd say grants and other money's available. But, when we pay $42 a day for an inmate to be in the jail, I think keeping them out of that jail would be a big resource not to have. We're approaching almost 6,000 kids in our school system. We've got only to educate them, but we've got to provide them things to do, whether it be a bowling alley, a skating ring. As old-fashioned as that may be, I still talk that to people, and they say, yeah, I'd love to do that, but what are we going to do it at? McMinn County, that's probably the closest, Loudoun County, Blount County. And let me tell you how that would affect that, too. I had to think about that a second. How would that affect the village, right? Well, if we get those things coming in here, A, that keeps them out of jail, B, it generates that revenue. It increases revenue, sales tax. Where do those dollars go? They go back into the funds. And what's that reduce? That reduces our property tax, other types of tax. It also allows us as a county government to provide maybe better services, to reach out maybe a little farther. So that's just the first thing I'd like to do. And I'm all about relationships too. And I would like to work real close hand in hand with our 4 cities. Growing up, I grew up in Telico Plains, and I felt like we were always left out, the stepchild, and I'm sure Vonore feels that same way. Just because we're a little smaller don't mean we still don't have feelings. But, working together, I think we could create so much more. They talk about a merchants association that Sweetwater has, Massville has. I would like to look at creating a county-wide merchant association to share those ideas. Say, okay, this worked for me, maybe it'll work for you. Again, those type of groups would really increase our revenue, plus maybe bring more people in here. And one thing I'd like to do is possibly an expo or outside event center to have a concert for the area. Again, what's that do for us? Man, they're huge. They bring in so much revenue that's not only our money, but people outside the county come to enjoy. Where they're selling that Coke, buying gas, staying at one of the few hotels we do have. So we're not pretty prominent in hotels in this county. And, it's a win-win situation where you can do that. Will it be easy? No. Will I probably get told a lot? Yeah. But that's okay. You got to just be consistent and go after things and make it happen. So I look forward to the opportunity to take some of my experiences and throw them in that mayor's office and hit the ground running. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. So the final area is the County Commission for District 4. And Chasen, if you would like to come forward and tell us what 2 things would you like to accomplish if elected, and how would they affect Telico Village?
Good afternoon, everyone. Chasen Curtis. I don't know a lot of people in here, but I'd love to get to meet each and every one of you. But the first thing that I'd like to see is that a board of commissioners that would come together and just to balance a budget. I'd like to see a healthy county. I'd like to see a county that is strived, that has got money that we take and we budget our money together, and then that way that the problems doesn't fall down on our taxpayers, and this would I believe would help the Telico Village. Number 2, if elected, I'd like to build a strong relationship with each and every one of you in our district. That way, our voices, whenever it comes time for voting for new agendas that affect our county, when officials are elected, that we're set in place to be spokespersons for the county, and to take the people's input and use it to the best judgment that will be the biggest impact for our county. I mean, that's why we get elected, in my opinion. We get elected to take and be your voice. And I know that I've not been in politics long, I'm young. I just want to get in here and I want to try to work for our county. Not many people at my age is getting in here and getting involved. And that's something that I want to do. I want to get involved. I want to take and try to be a worker. I am a worker. I do line work for a living. I mean, that's what I strive on. I know that I have to get up every morning and I have to go to work to provide for my family, to provide for me. So that's what I want to do for my county. I want to step up and I want to be the one that maybe that other younger people in my generation will stand up to take and want to try to do something for our county and for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Chasen. Paulette, what 2 things would you like to accomplish if reelected to the office, and how would they affect Telico Village?
I'm limited to 2 things. I need 2 more commissioners. We're going to get a school board member. Hallelujah. Because Von Orr has 2 schools, an elementary school and a middle school. And for years, we have not had a school board member. Thank goodness, we will have 1 school board member. But we have students that come to Von Orr Elementary and Middle School from Mount Pleasant. They're represented by Telico. We have school children that are coming from Lakeside and further down in Philadelphia, and those kids are coming to Von Orr. They're represented by the 1st and 2nd district people. So when people call, they say, well, you're not in my district. You'll have to call somebody from your district. So those parents have a real problem when it comes to actual representation. And something that I've beat my drum about that Mitch has heard several times is a convenience center. Guess what? We're getting a convenience center in Von Orr. Yes, it's going to be on Slag Road near TRDA property. And this is something that we will be getting because of the ARP money. It's nothing to do with tax money from the county or taken out of the budget. We couldn't have done it. I don't like to raise property tax. Me and my husband own commercial property here in Von Orr. And I just don't like, if you've seen commercial taxes, it hurts. So I feel like I contribute quite a bit because of the tax dollars that we put in. So when everybody is asking for raises as a county commissioner, what do you do? Do you want to help or just say sorry? And that's what happened in the last tax increase. Now, with only 38% of the community owning property in this county, you're the ones that are paying taxes. That's why there was an additional $25 put onto your tags. Guess who owns cars? Everybody owns cars. So we felt like that was a more fair tax because everyone would have to contribute. So my goal is to get 2 more commissioners, 2 more school board members. We'll have a constable, thank goodness, but we need equality. And with the number of dollars that Mitch told you that you're contributing, don't you think we need equal representation? And they hate hearing this because I'm the only female on the board and I don't give up. Husbands, have you heard your wife? You call them naggers. Guess what? I think every one of them that are on the commission and the mayor truly think I'm a nagger. But if it gets what our people need, I'm passionate. I grew up in Von Orr. I'm from a poor family. I was one of the first to go to college. So here I am. I'm begging you, help me because I do want to get a committee formed, and let's go after everybody and get equal representation for 4th District. We got cut. Our area got cut so they could equal out everybody else. So I'm actually representing less people. But I think we need 3 commissioners, 3 school board members. I'm going to keep harping. But if you're not a member of water group that protects this beautiful lake, please join. Thank you.
And thank you to all the candidates for their responses on their first question. The second question is more specific. We have a question for the sheriff, and this is a 2-part question, so you have 5 minutes. The first part of it is, what is the key to success when it comes to communicating with the public and recognizing their needs? And the second part is, what current event exemplifies why you think this is an important quality for the sheriff to have? Tommy, if you could come forward.
I believe me and Randy both jumped the gun a little bit earlier and answered this question with the first question. We just kind of looked at each other as I think we already answered this one. So, anyways, like I said earlier, the communication is very, very important. You guys have experienced the communication with the sheriff's office. I'll go back to the burglaries and the thefts and what we done and how we handled those. So you've seen firsthand the communication that you can and have with the sheriff's office currently. There's many ways of, communicating, and they are very handy to have. I remember when I started in law enforcement, we still had bag phones and pagers a long time ago, and it was kind of hard to communicate with each other. Even a radio system communicating from deputy to deputy has been a challenge. Now we have a new radio system in place that helps that also. Community policing is a big thing for me. I like seeing the deputies in the communities when possible. We do, on average, run 4 to 5 deputies per shift. We run 17 to 18,000 calls per year. So, this is a low crime area, as we all know. And you guys live here. I say that after I talk about 23 burglaries to boat docks, but in reality it is. We like to be able to be as accessible as possible when you guys have questions or concerns about the neighborhood. We recently started a neighborhood watch program. It has been throughout the county in 3 different locations now, and we started it here so far, and it's only been up and going for a short period of time. The community and the sheriff's office to communicate. And I believe as time goes on and that program grows and we have more people involved in it, it will be more and more successful, and the communications will be better also. And we're seeing success already come from it because you guys see, know, and hear a lot more than we do. As a patrol car, marked patrol car drives through the area, everyone acts good. They get on their best behavior. But as you drive through, you see they continue. Thank you, guys.
So, Randy, you're up.
Like I said, it's a vital part of what we do. Without trust and honesty, communication goes nowhere. And that's something we have to have between our departments in a timely fashion. Then you start seeing a deterioration in the trust because then they begin to think that, well, I'm those concerns that you have. And those are the things that we will do in a timely fashion. You know, one of the other things is when our deputies are driving through the neighborhoods, and it seems a lot of what's going on within the sheriff's department. You deserve to have patrols. Being proactive in your communities is communication. Being seen in your communities. We need to stop. Makes you feel more comfortable. Then you feel like you can reach out and talk to someone because you build a relationship a personal relationship with those officers. Those are the things that we're going to work on developing, is trust with the communities, trust in relationships with the officers in the communities, and making sure you see those guys in the communities so you're getting what you pay for. Just not being in the high crime areas, as we would say, your neighborhood, if we're not patrolling it, because people are going to go where the stuff is to get.
Thank you for the share of questions. Next up, County Commissioner. And what is your projects?
On this question right here, I'm going to be just totally honest with you, not being in office and being involved in this. The red light, hey, luckily I work for Loudon Utilities, and that is on that other one, so you ain't got me sweating on this one as bad. Oh, seeing y'all smile makes me feel a lot better, I'm not going to lie to you. But no, the transit study has been done on the red light there at 411 and Niles Ferry. And that is something that they have already gotten communication with the power company. All the red lights here on our part of the system, which is the lower end of 411. Fort Loudon has the one there at 411 and Highway. Come back and actually, hey, I had my boss getting communication with the people over that red light. So in that part of the structure and seeing what the infrastructure would cost and take on putting the entrance, well, right there at Niles Ferry. And there's going to have to be a turn lane put in. There's going to have to be quite a bit of infrastructure right there for that project. And then just one other that I had, in the optic fiber. I am a certified optic fiber splicer. I just got getting into broadband internet and to supply that to each and every one of our customers on our system. And for us, and which is pretty close to Fort Loudon as well, our startup fee for just to start up and make the company for the broadband internet, all fiber to each and every pole on our system. Because this area right here, that goes from all the way to the top of the world in Blount County to all the way to Mount Pleasant to Coker Creek and all, especially in our areas with being a power company as a co-op like Fort Loudon is, or with us, we are a utility board. We have to supply it to everybody. We can't pick and choose on where we take fiber to. But that is some numbers. There's definitely grants. There's definitely to see what we could do to take and make that happen in our community, because we need that. We need the communication. COVID hit, and what it do is you like power. I know that. I get to service the Telico Village part over off of 444. I'm in there. That's my second home. I live in there. So I'm in there all the time, and that's where I do a lot of my work. I'm in the underground part. I'm an underground that we can do and work for, and that's what I want to do. I really want to emphasize that I am a worker. I want to take and see our community grow. We're growing, and as a county, as a community, we have to grow with it. Thank you.
Pressing needs for infrastructure or capital projects in the county.
I had first said a convenience center. We're going to get the convenience center, and I'd been after Mitch a long time for that. There are water not have good, clean water. So with the mayor and projects. Now, it is on Miller Road, but there's one project that's going down Howard's Chapel that we received a grant for, and some of the COVID funds that have come in. So some of the people are going to, but when you have slime coming out of your pipes, you can't drink, you can't wash clothes. So, well, I have to brag on him a little bit. But I've been back there like that nagger, The convenience center is going to help tremendously. We'll be in Slag Road, TRDA property, close to the industrial park down 72. So it will be convenient. We were the only place, neglected child, that we were All other three cities have convenience centers. Von see people working with water board, to make sure that we keep our lake clean. It's one of the clean membership, and they need people to serve on the board. The other thing is more county commissioners, more school board members. Like I said, I just keep talking about it. They will get tired of it. It will be a cost to this town of Von Orr. The town of Von Orr doesn't have a lot of money, but you don't want higher taxes. So a red light is something that everybody wants. We feel, because I often, and I'm going out, and even out Mountain View, I live just off Mountain View. And if you, you don't get to turn left often, people. So it won't do us any good to get a left and come back down so I don't get hit by a car. So a red light is essential. But Lowell Russell, and Lowell is great. But, you know, who's paying is the number one thing on those things. But maybe if we can get a right turn lane to begin with, and we keep yelling, keep nagging, ladies. We had a red light there, and it was taken away. I bet these guys didn't even know that. It didn't stay long, believe me, because of the hills going both ways. So, and I do know that the town of Von Orr will either have to foot the bill or arrangements to make payments for the maintenance of that red light, which is essential. It is. It's needed. You've got other people across the lake at Highway 72 that's also asking for a red light. And they're my constituents also. So when TDOT hears from me, and they have heard from me, believe me, they know the two places. There's, who knows? Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity to be here, and I do appreciate you.
So I just have to ask, how many people know what a Michigan left is? All right. We'll talk about that later. So the next question is for the mayor. What is the main challenge that you foresee in this role, and what is your greatest fear as a mayor? We'll start with Mitch.
But do I not get a rebuttal against Paulette? I mean, come on. I told her, I said, now, I could have mentioned the convenience center in my opening, but I was going to, no. Is it a workforce that's limited? Possibly. That could be one of the things that we're looking at. In the fact, I had a conversation with a company this week, and we visited there before about allowing inmates to go to the workforce. The future, what I feel our challenge is also our strength. Chasen's mentioned it, Richard's mentioned it, both sheriff candidates have mentioned it. Paulette and there's going to be some growing. We're seeing that in a mega facility in Sweetwater right now. One facility has changed the dynamics of their entire utility district. So that's important. When we have growth, we have to have more schools. We have to have bigger jails. We have to have more money. But you see, all of those things are good things, and still trying to balance we're at home. If Monroe County wasn't the place to be, we would not see in our little rural East Tennessee county over 3 million visitors. We have to have roads. We have to have all those things, and we have to plan. We have to plan ahead, not for next decision we make. So that's the challenge, is our growth, managing our growth, but balancing our growth at the same time. This may be a little off the wall. This may not be dollars and cents, and we get so under state and federal mandates that we can't run our own business here in Monroe County. Talked about each individual county mayor the decision whether to issue a countywide mask mandate and stood for. I feel as a American citizen, you have the God-given right, a constitutional right, to make an educated. But you know, we just look up the road to Washington, D.C., and we can find that these civil liberties are in jeopardy, Kahiti. They're in jeopardy. And we have to circle our wagons and be level, and when we get a chance at the national level. But that's my biggest fear. We don't need Washington or even Nashville, not how to spend your money, not how you should live your lives in your home, as long as you're a law-abiding citizen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch. So, Richard, if you are elected mayor, what is the main challenge that you foresee in this role, and what is your greatest fear as a mayor?
Wow, that's a great question. And Mitch hit on a lot of services as well to maintain those services each day and provide them to every citizen in this county as we can. And, you know, as we look at we're to give a 3% raise sometimes, which is a joke to folks making $30,000 a year, which equals $1,500 a year. But yet we expect to keep those employees to do a tough job. You know, a lot of them has came in there, and I say a lot of them, let me rephrase that. A lot of employees I have spoke to over the years, why did my tags go up? You know, we pay them little money to put up with those. We grow, the plan's got to be there. Thinking back, I think we may just have started a 5-year committee. Again, it's going to be longer than 5 years. Education-wise, we've done been hit from the school system, or will be at some point, to, hey, we're going to need 2 more new schools. You know, what turned into $20 million now is going to be $50 million. How are we going to pay for that? You know, do we implement, you know, even, again, we don't tell the schools what to do with their money, but we give them the money usually that eventually we got to have a plan in that. We need to have that communication between the commission and the schools and the mayor as a team to make, you know, they built that school and it's not big enough. You know, when you have to pull trailers out to have school classes in, that's sad. You know, it's really sad. So I think that will be a big challenge. And I think another misconception that people may not understand from the county government side is the mayor's office. Well, I sat there, and as mayor, I hadn't had that opportunity. But, you know, it's not an easy decision because it's a big impact on people's lives, the world they do it. I don't even know how they live. So that's a challenge as well when you look at it. How do we take care of those? What programs do we have in place to really help them? So, you know, it's a lot of things. And as a mayor, you don't wear one hat. It's multiple hats, just depending on what day it is. You know, it could have an EMS problem. You could have somebody complaining about the convenience center being too slow and nobody there to help unload the trash, you know. So it's got to be a big communication office as well to get those messages out to people. And as far as the fear, I was going to say I really don't have and defend what we need to defend and move forward with that decision. And I do feel, though, it takes community involvement. I have to make my own decision, be my own person, and do that. But again, you know, we've got to be led in the right direction. So we're there yet. 300 inmates, you know, and that's another little bit of a sore spot. That would have cost us $1.5 million to finish 3 or 4 years ago. Now it's up to probably $5 million. But yet we still failed to take that action. Well, that's how you explain it to people. You know, we're not just throwing $5 million into the jail. Hey, we're going to throw $5 million into the jail to make it a little safer for this community, this county. That's how we got to approach things. And that's key to, I think, any office that explains why we do it. Don't blame it on other offices.
Thank you, Richard. And thank you for all the candidates, and as we spoke earlier, we would love to hear from you. You can either approach the microphone here, or if you are watching via the Telico Village Network, and type in your questions on the chat, and there's somebody monitoring down. I know there's questions out there. Yes, sir. Please come to the mic. We'd love to. Then what the question is.
Okay, I'm Ken Heiserman, and this was directed to Sheriff Jones. We have a couple of candidates here for your take on the candidates and to which one might be, I guess.
So let
Which-
me just step in, and if it's a question about the candidate, should be giving us an opinion on the candidates.
Well,
that-
they probably have a better idea of which
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're not going to be able to fill that question. Now you might be
Nope.
able to get with them later and get with both Tommy or Randy and ask them their opinions. But
Okay.
that's
fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. Lee has a question for us.
My name is Lee, and specifically the cost involved. It sounds like it's millions. Is a red light that expensive?
Would be the best. Okay.
The numbers, Lee, that we have received from TDOT.
Mitch, they're not going to be able to hear on. I'm
The
sorry.
numbers, Lee, that TDOT has passed down to us from Representative Russell's office is about $250 to $275,000. The structure itself and the utilities to go with. That's what we're being told. Now, if you get into turn lanes, turn signals,
Okay. And then is there ongoing costs?
well,
Maintenance?
right, those have to be updated every so many years. Obviously, the main cost is just the utility cost itself, but, the city of Von Orr would incur that cost.
Okay. My convenience center a lot. What is a convenience center?
It is not where you get gas. Believe it or a fancy word, it is where you take your household garbage and dispose of it. And as a county taxpayer, you're paying for those services, $7,000, and you bring it in Monday through Saturday, and it's disposed, and it goes on. But you actually have to bring it to the convenience center. The convenience have recycling, and I know that's something that this group is very passionate about, is recycling. And we're going to ramp that up here.
Well, I'm a foreigner, so I'm. But the last little thing I'd like to say is thank you. This is a great forum to
Great.
appreciate it.
I know I did have a question about that convenience center. Not that I have any glass, but others have asked. Does anybody have any additional? Okay. Any additional questions? Well, the candidates are available, and I know we have a hard stop in a few minutes. In Kahiti, we do ask that you help us with our chairs, but thank you, everybody, for coming, and thank you. Good night.
Ma'am, very well
Thank
done. I appreciate you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. You too.